Haris Khalique is a poet, a very good poet actually. He is the author of several volumes of poetry. He is also an author, and he's the Secretary General of the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan. Haris?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Parvez. मैं दोनों में कर लेता हूँ बात, so that we can reach out to more people in the room. Thank you very much. Is there any particular question, or you just want me to say what I think about the issue?
Questions will come later.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I see this confusion about what Pakistan should look like and how the Pakistani state should be shaped, persisting from day one. Actually, and I would call it confusion. There was no clarity because Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founder of the nation, and his All India Muslim League spoke of two things at the same time. One was inclusion and the other was exclusion. I mean, the whole communal politics in South Asia was based on exclusion. But when it came to 1946, when the cabinet mission plan was actually agreed upon by all others except for Indian National Congress, all other stakeholders, there was a bit of, you could see that there was an attempt to include people without partitioning any of the provinces of British India, and also agreeing on living together with some zones within the larger British India when the British leave. So there is, but on the other side, he also wanted to create a laboratory where Islam could be experimented with. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, he has said it on many occasions that we are going to create a lab where, a modern Islamic republic, whatever his vision was about a modern Islamic republic, that we will create a laboratory for that. So it was, the confusion persists from day one. And it is not just the objectives resolution, but, objectives resolution also has to be seen in this continuum of history, because this communalism in India, there were wars between Hindu-dominated or Muslim-dominated rajas or native rulers or monarchs, but the communalism in India, in its present shape and form, when I say India, I mean the Indian subcontinent, South Asia, came after the British, when there was categorization of faiths. Otherwise, before the late 19th century, there had been no census in British India. British India, or before that, Mughal India, or Maratha ruled India. And we didn't know how many Hindus and how many Muslims and how many people of different jatis lived across South Asia. So it is very important to consider these points. Then coming to, so I see it as an inevitable result of what we see in Pakistan: extremism, project radicalization, and project extremism. It does not begin with General Ziaul Haq, as most of the people would like to believe. It begins with the founders, with the vision of the founders, and it begins with the confusions that persisted. We have the benefit of hindsight, so we can say and analyze all these things. So there are multiple factors. It is much more nuanced than I can, I'm putting it across. But just to understand the moti baatein. And then we come to 1949, and Liaquat Ali Khan and the first Prime Minister of Pakistan waits for Mr. Jinnah to pass away to bring the objectives resolution in the first Constituent Assembly of Pakistan, to which the objection comes from all the minority members of the first Constituent Assembly. And there is that confusion. I give you another example. The first 4 or 5 most important people Mr. Jinnah selected, Quaid-e-Azam selected as his cabinet members, is very interesting, because on the one hand he wanted a laboratory of Islam, and on the other hand the first law minister was Joginder Nath Mandal. So how could you envisage a Sharia-led state when you have a Hindu law minister? He was the first law minister. Then the first foreign minister was Sir Zafrullah Khan, who was Ahmadi, at that point in time called an Ahmadi Muslim, now from the Ahmadi Jamaat. So you see, this is very interesting. I mean, if you go by the official version of it. So Sir Zafrullah Khan was the first foreign minister. And then you have Liaquat Ali Khan, who's a Sunni Muslim prime minister. And then I don't remember the name of the commander-in-chief, who was Christian. So it is interesting that is how, the Gracie, yeah. So that is how, so this confusion persisting from day one. Now, very quickly, because I know that we are, and we can have another round of conversation. There is this, objectives resolution. I would like to. Many people in the audience would know. I'm sure of that. But I would like to reiterate that objectives resolution was made a part of the Constitution in 1973 as its preamble. It was not the substantive part of the Constitution. It was made an addendum to the Constitution in 1985, and when you make, there are lawyers here and it's not my forte, but as an addendum, it has become the substantive part of the Constitution. So if you if you go to Urdu Bazaar and buy a book of Pakistan ka Ain, usme objectives resolution do jagah hai. So this is so we have sort of, इसको हमने मजीद सख्त और severe हम करते चले गए, और उसकी वजह यही है कि इसकी बुनियाद ही एक कम्युनल पार्टीशन पे है. अच्छा, यही हालात हिंदुस्तान के हैं. यहाँ ये नहीं है कि वहाँ कुछ हालात हमसे कोई बेहतर हैं, मगर हमारे यहाँ ये इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज स्ट्रक्चरल मसाइल पहले दिन से हैं. उनके यहाँ अब ज़्यादा उसमें आपको शिद्दत नज़र आती है. आखिरी बात इस सिलसिले में मैं अर्ज़ करूँ आपसे कि आई थिंक देयर इज़ एन इंटरप्ले ऑफ एथनिसिटी, sect and class in the marginalization of minorities, which we mustn't forget. इसमें एक यानी आप अगर I don't want to name names, but I have some Parsi friends in Islamabad, from Pindi and Islamabad and Karachi. उनकी तरफ रवैया जो है, जो आपने कहा ना, एक Pakistan is a male Sunni trader dominated state. That is, they are the first class citizens. So male Sunni trader dominated state के first class citizens का जो wealthy या उनकी क्लास से ताल्लुक़ रखने वाले या उनकी क्लास से ऊपर अगर किसी भी मज़हब से आपका ताल्लुक़ है तो वो इतनी अहमियत नहीं रहती. लेकिन असल मसला वो नहीं है, क्योंकि अक्सरियत इस मुल्क की जो है वो गरीब है, उसके पास वसाइल नहीं है. तो एक, you can look at it from, there's a degree of marginalization, I call it. So if you are a poor Muslim man, you are marginalized. If you are a poor Muslim woman, you are more marginalized than the poor Muslim man. If you are a poor non-Muslim man, you are much more marginalized, furthermore marginalized than a poor Muslim man and a poor Muslim woman. And if you are a poor Muslim, non-Muslim woman, this country is not for you to live in. I stop here. Thank you.
Thank you.